computer.
That's
All right.
why I'm saying what you just said. I want to hear. I want to hear Unreal Solutions.
If you want hopping past spandex in nature, you get a lot farther in life than if you go with ball pet.
Okay. Did I leave my glasses up here? Now? No, didn't see them. All
All right,
right.
gents, you're live.
What's that? We're live?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, work my way back into the basement. So, I'm not, if you want to, because I can't really see the comments on my phone.
Yeah.
If you happen to see them somewhat, but yeah, so Dave, you're looking like you spent 3 years in the bush.
I didn't shave for a few weeks, and then the wife came up and brushed my face. She goes, "Oh, I like that. You should keep that." So, needless to say, I have a beard now.
Your beard is out of control.
Actually, I just got it. I didn't put any stuff in it today, so yeah, it is a bit out of control.
I just mean it's out of control. It's huge. it looks epic, is what it looks really.
Well, it's my first time real attempt at growing a beard in my entire life. So,
Well, if that's your first real attempt, you did one hell of a job.
yeah. Well, it almost got shaved off a few times.
Yeah.
First time I ate soup with it, and I looked down at my shirt when I went to get up. I was like, "Oh, this is not good."
Yeah. Nuts, eh? Yeah. Yeah, it was nice watching the episode again, and forgetting some of the stuff, right, that we talk about and different things. But it's been really good and getting exciting. Leading up to the Mefloquin rally, eh?
Yeah. Well, I just gotta start beating the door for media there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get some. We'll see if we can get a couple. At least I like it when we get one good reporter showing up, as opposed to like 3 or 4 really bad ones.
Yeah.
Got to be selective on who we reach out to. Been burned too many times by the media, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a fact, eh?
Yeah.
So when do you and this is kind of going to end up more about the rally, but when are you guys headed west to go to Victoria?
Oh, I'm not even sure yet. I'm not even sure how I'm going to get out there yet. Still playing it by ear. I got I had the granddaughter out here this summer for a month. I just got
nice.
back from there a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So
nice.
I'm kind of tapped out financially. So I'm just waiting to the end of the month, and we'll see what we can set aside after everything's bought and paid for. All the bills are paid and everything. And yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be able to get a flight, but yeah, we'll play it by ear. Might end up just driving out with the car.
Yeah, or if you flew into Vancouver and then went over, no? Would that work for you?
Oh yeah, no, I flew in there with Wounded Warriors to right out to the island there. That one 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Or last year.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, it actually was. Sort of like that island. A little bit busy, but
yeah,
has a lot of redeeming features and stuff there.
Yep, that's true. What was I going to say? How long do you plan on being there? I think it's the 20th and the 21st, correct?
Yeah, I'll probably go out the day before.
Yeah.
And then again stay a full 24 hours after, and then return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. You got a Ukrainian shirt on?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I
Nice.
just threw it on. I dug it off the floor of the bedroom this afternoon. I thought
Nice.
I'd put a shirt on instead of walking around in my gotch all day.
Yeah. And I appreciate the fact that you're wearing clothes right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I took the dog outside for a walk and that, so.
Yeah. Once again, that beard is epic. Yeah.
I'm
No wonder she likes your beard.
I'm kind
It's,
of I'm kind of surprised how much of a difference those beard products make to it.
oh,
Because the
nice.
last time I tried growing a beard,
Yeah.
it just got so irritating, you know? I just
Yep.
fucking shaved it off one day. I was like, okay, I can't take this anymore. But now when you put that oil, that conditioner and stuff in it, that beard
Yep.
conditioner, shit, holy shit, makes it soft and it's not itchy. And I was surprised. I thought it'd be the first real hot day I had to work outside. I thought I'd be coming home right away and shaving it off, but it didn't bother me in the summer.
Huh.
So
Nice. So how long you been growing it for now? How many hours?
I think that this is about 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, about five or
I
six.
was thinking possibly 24 hours of growth, but I mean,
God, no.
I guess 5 months makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The There was, like yesterday we did a fundraiser at this pub, but it was it was interesting. Say all the golfers, there's 44 people golfing, but not one person I knew, and not one person that knew about Mefloquine. Say, and then at the end, or partway through, they did a bit of questions and answers. Ask. So this one girl looked up and came up with a bunch of questions to interview me, or to just for up at the stage and that. And yeah, we covered some pretty good stuff. And you know, there's a lot more people. Well, you know, quite a few there were quite interested in what's going on. Um, there was a counselor there from Mississauga. She's running, I think, as a conservative MP in the next election. So she came by to see, and yeah, I think, and I'm really looking forward to the rally in Victoria. I think, you know, um, see some numbers.
Well, it's not even really about the numbers. More the way I look at it with these rallies and doing any presentation or anything like that.
Yeah,
It's more about reaching people. Like uh, every year we've done the rally. There's a new face, someone that heard about it that didn't know what was going on with it, but had been on it. They
yeah,
caught a little blip in the news about it, and just coming out of curiosity, and it's just pulling more people in. It's like we get so many people misdiagnosed. Oh my God, fuck. Even
yeah.
had someone reach out to me there today. Um, yeah, it's
Never ending.
startling. It's startling how that one or that two little pieces of paper made such a difference to our fight. The when the Surgeon General and the Health Protection and that Health Canada stated that yes, there could possibly be injury from the drug, but there's no basically the letter said there was no proof of it. So um, like how much that one those two little letters totally fucking screwed our advocacy effort up, because by publishing that, I was in a neurologist's office, and when he Googled Mefloquine, that he couldn't find anything in the medical journals about it. But he came across that letter from the Health Canada,
Yeah.
and the whole tone of that doctor's meeting just changed. It's
Huh.
like all of a sudden I became, yeah, well, you know, you don't quite fit this, you don't fit that, so you don't have a problem, basically, is what he said.
Yeah.
You know?
Huh. Hey, that's what I was going to ask you. Who's the guy, Bob Nofsky, or the guy in the States you were talking about? That's a
Oh,
big
Bill Manofsky.
Bill. Can I wouldn't mind trying to see him, or link up with him
Oh, okay.
one day.
I'll reach out. I'll give you his contact information, and I'll reach out to him and
Yeah.
give you guys an intro. No,
Yeah. I
Bill's a
was
good guy.
gonna,
Yeah, no, he's the guy that taught me how to do the what I do. I model off of what he does down the States. You know,
Yep.
he's just about the outreach. He's just about the connecting people up. The only
Yep.
problem we're running into here in Canada is we can't rope in an actual medical doctor to stand up and say, "Hey, this is a problem, um, and this is how you diagnose it, or this is how we can tell it's this." We can't get a doctor in Canada to do that. Yet down the States, where it's the different, the help pay for your service, it's a lot easier to get doctors that specialize in that. You know?
Yep.
So what Bill's got set up right across the states is a group of doctors that are really well educated on mefloquine poisoning, and he literally just refers guys to these different doctors in different regions of the states, and it flows so much easier down there than up here. Like you
That's
can, like we've got so many guys down now that have gotten diagnosis for mefloquine poisoning. It's just the tip of the iceberg. They're starting to snowball down there. Like we're seeing people getting coverage through their VA for disability for mefloquine poisoning now. Like, and it's a regular basis now. It's not just once every one guy a year type thing. It's like, one guy, two guys, sometimes three guys a month now are getting these diagnoses down there. And that's where eventually we hopefully, and again, it's just like PTSD. Remember way back in the early 90s there?
Yep.
PTSD wasn't an issue. We had Romeo Dallaire passed
Yep.
out in the Rideau Canal,
Yep.
and guys like me on line units, we're getting thrown in jail. We're getting thrown into the medical system, and we're getting labels, because we're not presenting with classic PTSD. We got a significant anger component to our stuff, and we're throwing we don't fit neatly into a box for them, so the doctors don't know what it is, so they just throw whatever label they can. Like, I have heard some crazy. I've had some crazy diagnosis. Uh, I can't even remember all of them, but they're like before I was booted out of the army, I think they stuck me with probably about 5 different diagnoses. And generalized anxiety disorder secondary to alcohol use. Like all sorts of
Yeah. Everything linked to an addiction or something, right?
no addiction or childhood stuff or nothing to do with PTSD and nothing to do with fucking methloquine, but everything else but military service
Sorry,
related
I had to
stuff.
hang up. Sorry, Ryan, you called me while I was doing a live. I had to hang up on you. Okay, go on. Sorry.
So
My
it's,
phone was ringing.
and they even had Major Gervin in Ottawa. I don't know how many people this person's killed. Like, here I am, I just finished the inpatient alcohol treatment program in Toronto. I finished that, and I got a letter from the head psychologist for all the EMTs and firefighters and cops in Toronto stating that I got PTSD. Handed it to the Army, and that wasn't good enough, so they sent me up to Ottawa, and I do all the testing, and I don't meet the Army's criteria for PTSD.
You know,
And, and it
all the
and it
things.
and it's absolutely crazy to think that, with the rate of PTSD of guys coming out of Rwanda, you know,
Yeah.
like it's just crazy. Like, you don't meet the criteria for our PTSD. Yet I was pulling kids out of minefields and all this crazy ass shit over there. And yeah,
Yeah. No, it's what I think really what they did with the drug and the damages they did to us and to the people, and then to turn around and then like point you in the wrong direction,
oh, I know.
say you don't have this, say you don't have that. You know,
Yep.
it's isn't that kind of all part of the game of what they do to in today's world with the gaslighting, saying
Oh my God.
like it's it's a bit ridiculous, don't you think?
It's beyond ridiculous. It's criminal, actually, what's going on. It's criminal. And
Yeah.
if you look at the civilian side of things, it's it's just brutal what's going on.
I don't know if you could read what Roy Mack just wrote. He just said, "My med docs say soldier appears to be suffering the adverse effects of Larium." What year was that again, Roy? That that they put that on your docs. I remember Roy was talking about it before. Um, but yeah, nothing close to nothing points in the direction of Larium or Mefloquine
Yep.
most of the time.
Yeah.
But
2002.
that being said, right, 2002. So that would make sense. That would be their 10 years of pushing the drug without right, whether
Well,
you have
no, it's
side effects or not.
but even on our deployment, we had a couple of guys that got diagnosed with adverse events from mefloquine.
When? Like
Well, early on in our deployments, my fire team partner
in Somalia?
in Somalia, my fire team partner Jake, we had to tie him up, take his rifle away from him. He was medically evacuated,
You
and
know,
I didn't find out till years after I was out. I was talking with John Cummings, the member of parliament, and the topic of conversation became he was talking about Jake's incident when he went batshit crazy over there, and I just looked at him and I go, "Well, he was my fire team partner. I was there when most of that stuff went on."
you know, I wonder how many people actually had to come home from Somalia. Does anybody know the number on that?
No,
Because
they
say,
everything I talked to, and she was an interop at the time working in Ottawa. And at the time of the Somalia inquiry, there was a 10-person team, I believe she said, 8 or a 10-person team. And what their job was to go through NDHQ top to bottom and purge everything mefloquine, or not mefloquine, but everything Somalia related.
yeah.
Like, so there's going to be breaks in.
No, yeah. But so here's the question. So how long was Jake there before he left? Do you remember? Would you recall roughly?
Yep. It was week 3, I believe. Week 4.
Yeah. So that was week 3 or 4. My buddy Larry, right? He was only there a week. He had some bad stomach issues and had to get sent home.
Yep.
And I never realized that, right?
Yeah.
So, then I wonder how many people were sent home. That's 2 people in 3 weeks, right? When you wouldn't think there'd be anybody. And I wonder how many people went in the first 3 weeks.
I
Then,
don't
right?
know. It's well, if we're statistically we're looking at this, one person, I know one person. So there's got to be, I don't know. I'm just going to throw this number out there. There's got to be between 10 and 20 people that had medical issues.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gotta be.
I would say easily. So we have. So right now we have one guy from 3 Commando and one guy from Headquarters Commando.
Yeah.
So, if anything, you can just throw in 3 more to cover all the commandos, or and then really it's more than that, because say out of the 2 platoons that I was around,
How many
there
guys
was
get
at
sent
least
home for conduct?
nobody got sent. Well, hold on. One guy was sent home for conduct. 2 were sent home for conduct. These would be actually interesting numbers to.
Yep.
You know
I
what?
know.
I think what we need to do is we need to. I think we're going to come up with a survey, Dave. What do you think?
Yeah.
And just to see, because really, to be honest, so there's 2 people. I think 2 people were sent home for issues. Hey, Eric. And then you have. We had probably 3 or 4 people whose behavior was fucking all over the place, right?
Yeah. Oh,
That's so that we're
we
talking 5 and 60 right now.
Yep.
It's and then the the little stories, right? My section commander did this, my buddy did that, right? Things like that. But you don't really know more than outside that circle. So really, you go across the dirt road to the next platoon, and that's a fresh ball ball of wax, right?
Well, I was talking like 2 or 3 years ago. I was bumped into a guy from that I was in one RCR with, and he was over in Somalia with the RCR mortar platoon that was attached to us. And they one morning they woke up and they had one of our guys from 3 Commando in 2 Commandos barbed wire, buck ass naked on pill night,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they helped pull him out of there. Like, you talk to the guy, he goes, I don't know fucking how I ended up here. Like
Do you know the guy's name? You don't have to tell me here.
no, I don't know the guy's name, but I know the guy named who pulled the guy out of there.
A 2 Commando guy or 3?
No, he's a 1 RCR guy, mortars guy that was your
Yeah.
guy's 2 Commandos compound.
Fuck. Because I almost think I've heard that story too, right? Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of abnormal behavior going on.
Oh, there's crazy amount of abnormal, but it wasn't just abnormal behavior. It was more like behavior that was uncharacteristic
Oh yeah, no, completely
of,
in that category,
yeah,
right?
like stuff that, okay, here's an infantry sergeant. He's been in the army for over 15 years, and he thinks it's appropriate to shoot at a bird on the side of the tree while we're doing a mounted patrol out in the middle of bad country. Stuff like that. It's like it makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like,
Coming from highly trained, professional, some
yep,
of the best soldiers Canada had to offer,
yep,
and this was their behavior.
yeah,
So really, in retrospect, because the Somali inquiry was really looking at what our actions were, what we were doing, what did you do? You're never mind the fact that the government acquired the drugs from Australia, going to do it as a drug trial, which they never did, administered the drugs, kept people, even though they had side effects, kept making them take it, right? Um, what really needs to happen is an inquiry into how the government forced the drug onto the soldiers,
yes,
right?
yes,
And
because
some of the
they were
resulting,
given the drug was given to us under some very, very, very strict guidelines, and we were supposed to be actually we were supposed to sit down the day before we took the pill. We were supposed to be interviewed by a doctor. He goes, "How are you feeling today?" Blah, 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 blah. They'd get our baseline. And then after we took the pill, we'd be interviewed again by the doctor a little bit later. You, like, none of that ever happened.
in
Like, they didn't even
whose world was this supposed to happen?
this. Yeah, exactly. This was supposed to happen. That was one of the stipulations why that drug was released to us as part of that drug trial, that there was some very strict monitoring protocols that were supposed to be followed. They were never followed. They didn't even try. And in fact, before we even left Somalia, uh, they already submitted the report that the drug was safe for use and there was no adverse events reported.
Yeah,
Even before
yeah.
we left Somalia, the whole drug trial was just a sham.
Those lying sacks of proverbial
Yep.
poo.
No, and
Right?
and you know what? And it falls directly on a couple of people's shoulders. Number one, the Surgeon General of the Canadian Forces at the time. You know,
And it's funny. So on him, so he pushed the drug through for us.
yeah,
Yeah, but
under
then
under the
then
under the direction, and I can't 100% verify this, but the guy who directly benefited from mefloquine in Canada is the guy that owned that company, AA Pharma, Sherman, the guy that was found killed in his mansion in Toronto, him and his wife.
yeah,
He's the guy that directly benefited from that drug being released for use because he had the marketing rights for mefloquine
that's it.
Canada,
Right.
and he needed that drug trial to get this fucking drug changed or get this drug released for use in Canada.
Yeah,
Because his policy is when he makes political donations, he donates to every party in Canada, federal party in Canada. And he doesn't make little donations. He makes absolutely huge donations. So when this guy needed a drug trial, all you had to do was pick up the phone the PMO's office. Hey, I need something cleared for use. Could you tell your chief of defense staff to hurry this along?
yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, we've had a couple of people come forward early on when we started bitching about this, and that gave us the gist on what happened. And that's exactly what happened. And I heard someone
Huh.
else here mention that Jacob's ladder.
Yeah,
Well,
that was
Jacob's
Roy and
ladder,
Charles were commenting
yeah,
in there.
yeah. Well, the Jacob's ladder, that's a very interesting movie. But here's the thing: that movie's based in reality. That movie wasn't created out of fiction. It wasn't a work of it's based off of actual development work the Americans were doing with creating a drug to make super soldiers. The only problem with that is out of the all the money they spent, on that performance enhancing drug for soldiers, there was only one compound they found that had all the attributes they were looking for to make super soldiers. You know, make the soldiers anxious. They don't sleep. Reduce their inhibition. You know, and and guess what? This is right on that fucking report. This drug has incidental anti-malarial properties. So fast forward a couple of years, you know, the global war on terror is starting to kick off. You know, Vietnam's just done, and they had the huge debacle with that chloroquine and malaria.
Yeah.
You know, chloroquine, the malaria was never the problem. It was the actual chloroquine was the problem, because the injury profile with chloroquine is it's crazy. There's a high incidence of injury from chloroquine, and especially if you put people in an environment where they're dehydrated all the time, and their body systems aren't working properly, flushing the excess drug out of their system.
Yeah.
So Vietnam, it wasn't an issue of the drugs not being available to soldiers. Is more the soldiers stopped taking the drugs because of the adverse effect it was having on them. And that's why they had such a high rate of malaria in Vietnam.
That was their 1 in 10 that they were losing just from probably chloroquine and not malaria.
Well, it's I can't speak to that, but but it was just crazy what was going on. And then all of a sudden, you had that guy that was urgent operational requirement for Vietnam. Oh, we got to get a safer, more effective anti-malarial drug. And you know, and back then in the 70s, they spent $100 million or $200 million, which is an astounding amount of money back then. And the only fucking thing that they could find out of all the thousands of compounds they tested from around the world, drugs and that, there was one doctor that was working on that super soldier program that was also working on this malaria program.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he brought it up or what, but or he presented it, but somehow this drug got dusted off, and the incidental anti-malarial properties came to the forefront on that drug. Oh, we've got a new anti-malarial drug. So what I'm thinking's happened, and this is just speculation on my part, based off of a few quite interesting conversations I've had with some people down the States that were involved in the early stages of the mefloquine being introduced to the Army. Is this doctor or the general in charge needed something to show for that, all those millions of dollars. And all of a sudden, the only thing they had was this drug with incidental anti-malarial properties, but it had all the properties they want to make soldiers fucking more effective in combat, you know? So they dusted this off. The general presented it. Here you go. We got your super drug. And I bet you he was hoping that they would spend more time and money developing it instead of just kicking it out to the troops.
Yeah.
They didn't spend the time and money developing it further. But to back this up, this doctor, he's only been published twice, and he's been published on the same topic, and this is mefloquine. He's had a paper written on it when he was working for the super soldier program, and he had a paper written directly as a result of him doing the research for an anti-malarial drug. That's the only 2 times he's been published. So I don't know. I don't really subscribe to conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of compelling evidence to support this.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Um, I just found my way into the chat. I'm just gonna swing in there for a second.
Yeah.
Go down through there. Big Boy Blue just says hi, Mike. Hi, Dave. Airborne Brothers.
Yeah, I'm
Matt
just reading
Walker
them
said
too.
hi. Huh?
Just reading them too.
Yep. Yeah. And then so that one's on a YouTube, and then on Facebook you have Matt Walker. Hey, brother. Hey, Matt. Donald Schwartz. Safe drinking water for all, of course. And 2024 year of truth that I could possibly see. Watching from Nova Scotia. Thanks, Donald. Nice t-shirt. I know. I think you got the same one, Matt. We talked about the adverse effects of delirium that Roy had. Eric came on. Jacob's Ladder. Posted. Yeah. All right. Now, hopefully I can find myself back. Got it. So, found some of those anyways, but, we should, maybe even, like do another one, just to get together, like kind of leading up to the
Yeah, to the
rally,
rally. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Get Sean on here. I would have tried to bring him on already, but I'm not sure if he's in a good cell area anyways. So why don't we?
Can we just talk about one thing first?
No, go ahead. Sure.
I'm just wondering, even if guys in the chat and all that can mention it, if someone's found a treatment or they're doing something that alleviates their symptoms,
Yep.
yeah, because one of the things I found, hey Gil, long time no
Hey,
see.
Gil.
Yeah, one of the things I found though is I did Loretta neurofeedback. I did that quite intensively, and it's actually made a significant improvement on my day-to-day functioning. Little things like that.
Yep.
Super high-strength probiotics, getting my guts digesting the food, healthy, just cleaning up my diet. And you'll notice that I'm not mentioning any pharmaceuticals. I don't take any pharmaceuticals other than a little bit of medical marijuana. Yeah, so if anyone's got any treatment that they find that's worth, please include it in the comments. I'll go through, because I'm always because one of the things I still do is I still get people reaching out to me, asking about treatment options and stuff like that. So that's one of the things like I'm trying to push forward is within the community, trying to gather information up from and see if there's any patterns or trends with people with getting the better of it and actually getting some
Yeah.
benefit.
So on that very note, I'm going to try to bring on a guy to talk about the dual sympathetic reset and see if I can't, because I talked to Dr. Remington Nevin about that too, and he thinks that the double sympathetic reset might be something that'll work. That's the ganglion block or whatever they call it, right?
Yeah, no, I've
So
heard of that.
there's a guy, I believe he's around here in Ottawa, so that's where I'm at right now until Thursday morning. I'll go to Petawawa or Pembroke, but would you like to be on that when we do it, or
Sure.
or yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna get in touch with him and see if he can come on. Have yourself. I'll see if Sean can join us, and then can you think of any other things or and to be honest, I think the ketamine treatment, right? That made difference for me, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've actually noticed a huge difference in you since you've taken that ketamine.
Am I more or less crazy?
No, you're actually more settled.
Okay, that's perfect.
And that's the one thing I noticed with guys that have done any type of effective treatment is the how you can tell the effectiveness of the treatment is by how settled they are and how you're able to interact with them.
Yeah.
Like I had one guy there, it was like night and day. He couldn't even, he squirreled on you in the middle of a conversation, like constantly. It'd just drive you nuts. And you used to do that too, Mike.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm glad there's this. There's been
oh
an
yeah.
improvement.
Well, and that's what I
Yeah.
mean. If you people try things, even if it didn't work, just let them know what you tried. Fuck. Then we can ask around and we could throughout the community, because that's the only way we're going to beat this. The health system sort of cast us aside because we don't have a little block in their DSM-5 doctor handbook that says
Yeah.
no food poisoning.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yeah. So let's look at trying to do that. Trying to do that in the next 3-4 days. Would you be up
Sure.
for that?
Oh yeah. Just send me. Try and give me at least 6 hours.
Yep. So what
'Cause
we'll
I
do
got
is
a couple of projects and stuff coming up here. I got to be out of the house for. So
okay. So I'll definitely give you say 24 hours notice,
yeah, perfect.
probably, and then I like to say probably because I
Yep.
just say whatever. But yeah, let's try to do that here in the next 3-4 days, and then and that one can be talking about solutions or things that might help with
Yep.
method.
Moving
So
forward.
once we decide when we're doing it, I'll put it on my page as an event, right?
Yep.
And we'll try to get some people on that way. Also, anybody else watching might say, "Hey, have you tried this?"
Yep.
So hopefully we
Exactly.
can draw some more people in, right?
Yep.
And see, yeah. All right. Well, let's look at that. If you think of anything else and any other, maybe any other topics to work on between now and the rally, right? So we're talking about help. What about say how Alberta brought in Motion 502 or whatever to talk about that. Dave, send email to. Okay, do you see that? Send email to sergeant.mike.rude@gmail.com and he can update you as well. We don't have your email.
Who, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, Dave Bona 83 @gmail.com.
Dave Bona 83 @hotmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Sorry, @gmail.com.
Yeah.
You don't always have to hear the right words.
I'll just pop it. I'll just pop it in the chat.
Okay, perfect. You're gonna grab that, eh, Dave?
Yeah.
Hey, and Richard, I'm glad you. Sorry, I decided to take a step left. Left.
No, actually, that was me when I tried to make a comment. It took me right off of StreamYard into Google, and I'm not logged into Google, or not Google, but YouTube, and then it tried to log me in and everything. It's like, what the fuck? Where'd it go?
Yeah, I just did the same thing.
Yeah.
You went left, I went right, and Dave tried to save the day.
Yes, that's it right there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
On that note, what were we gonna? I was just gonna say that. I don't know. But tomorrow I should have some spare time. I have nothing, so
I get a neuro at 4.
I don't even have to go for an IV.
You got to go for a what?
For an IV.
Oh shit!
My arm was swollen, so I've been getting an IV at the hospital every day for 4 days.
Holy crap.
You know what, Brenda? I agree. I sometimes it's a struggle. So I think maybe for myself to get back onto live, I'm gonna have to start doing it with a few people.
Yeah.
That way, to keep myself live, right? I'm really struggling. Hey, Richard, glad you're on here. When are we gonna do an interview? Because yeah, Brenda, both Dave and I, he went left, I went right, and we both went to a Google page or something instead of going on StreamYard. But so, Richard, when can we do the? We should do an interview with you. Just to say, right, when I was in Regina at that first Special Service Force reunion, I think it was there. You know, one of the guys I talked to was like, man, for the nightmares with methloquine, he's like, I didn't know whether it was real or it was fake, right? And then I think that's where then I told them about your experience. So you know, I think, yeah, perfect. So I'm in the area, right? Let's if you're good, come up to Kingston on 23rd, 24th. Oh, yeah, I can't make it for that one because I'll be at the one in Victoria. Yeah, but I was there last year with Stefan. So yeah, so it'd be nice to get do yours as well, Richard. So I'll give you a call tomorrow and we'll try to work out some details and go from there. And maybe Richard, if you're up, you want to join us for that discussion about things that can help us. So we'll get a hold of Sean. I'll message Richard. Richard, if you could, I should have your email, but if you could send it to me. And anybody else? We can see if Marge is available.
Yep.
You know, get 3, 4, 5 of us on there and talking. That way, we're all thinking about the different questions about something that might help us, right? So,
Yep. Yep.
More the merrier, more or less. So, all right. Well, I think we should shut her down, and I got to go get my antibiotics at the hospital now. Go at the pharmacy. So, and maybe take Cinderella for a walk. She's she's more having a nap right now. But anyways, so all right. Hey, Dave, it's really been a pleasure, man. Thanks for being on the podcast. But most importantly, thanks for all your advocacy over the years, right?
Well, yeah, it's just filled a hole. Just filled a hole, you know.
Well,
sort of actually, it's kind of funny. It sort of tripped and fell into the hole, you know.
Yeah. Kind of like, and then you grew a beard so you could get out of the hole. Hey, yeah. Because once again, your beard is epic, man. It's insane size. Yeah.
Well, try and go for a trim about every month or.
Thanks, Brenda. Yeah, nice. Yep. Yeah. All right. So some phone calls tomorrow. We'll organize and we'll try to come up something for the next 3-4 days.
Okay.
Thanks, Brenda. Hugs back from Spark. All right. Yeah. So let's work on something and send it out. So, and if anybody else is interested in being on it as well, send me Charles, great beard, Dave.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure glad I got my beard shaved off, so I don't have to feel jealous. Eh?
Yep.
Your beard is like mine looked like a goatee. So, Yep.
Well, it's
Sadly,
kind of
I'm
funny.
not
It's
doing
kind
that.
of funny since I let this beard go. I've been hit on by more times than in my entire life than since I got this beard.
But because now when you walk out of the woods, you look like Grizzly Adams,
Exactly. And apparently chicks
right?
like Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
Too cool.
Kind of funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's chat on the phone tomorrow and look at when we're going to do another quick
Okay.
podcast. And I think maybe one of that nature, maybe we'll record it as well
Yep.
and save it that way. People can see those things that can really help.
Yep.
And more importantly, I'll try to get a hold of Buddy for the dual sympathetic reset.
Okay.
So in my view, I think that's one of the biggest things out there that are going to help us.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, Dave. Thanks, man. Love you. You take care. Stay safe. And you know, um, any advice for Saskatchewaneers?
No advice. No, it's we're just waiting for either the fall rains to hit or the fall fires to hit here. So
That or the -40 wind chill and
yeah,
blinding snowstorms
yeah,
coming out
we
of
got
York and Saskatchewan.
yep. We had a couple months for that, but they're around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually
Hopefully, fairways around the corner. But
woke up this morning to had let the dog out for a pee, and I went out in the back deck and you could see the dreaded mist. You know.
yeah, that
Yeah,
mist.
yep, the dreaded mist. It's
Brr.
like, shit.
Yep,
Winter's right
yep.
around the corner.
You got her.
Yep.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot, man. Once again, thanks for coming on. We're gonna and thanks for doing the podcast. And it's kind of nice actually to be able to sit because we do the premiere. So then I did the interview with you, but then that was back in February, and it was 3 hours long, and it's easy to forget stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it was it was almost sitting there going, oh, geez, I got to look up Bill. What's his name? Oh,
Yeah.
I got to look up, right? So that's almost even something should try to put in like a notes or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All righty. All right. Have a good night. Stay
Okay.
safe, and we'll see you all in a few days.
All right. Take care.
Love you all. Take care. Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye.